You ever get that feeling that the more we see violence on the news, the more it seems to happen in real life? Well, today, we're going to dig into that. We're exploring a really disturbing feedback loop, how the media's portrayal of violence doesn't just reflect our world, but can actually shape it, causing brutality to literally multiply.
All right, so let's jump right in. And we're going to start with something that might sound, well, kind of backward. It's a paradox that really sets the stage for everything we're about to talk about, and it'll make you question what you think you know about crime.
So check this out. On the surface, things actually look pretty good. In 2023, the FBI reported that violent crime rates across the nation dropped by 3%. Now, less violent crime, that's great news, right? You'd think so.
But here's where it gets strange. If overall violent crime is going down, then why? Why do these huge headline-grabbing crimes, the mass shootings, the serial killings, why do they seem to be totally immune to that trend? Researchers see this again and again, and that's the paradox we're diving into today. This puzzle leads us straight to something that social scientists have been studying for a long, long time. It's this idea that horrible acts can actually be replicated, a phenomenon they call the copycat effect.
So, what's a copycat crime? Well, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's a crime that's inspired by, or even directly modeled on, another crime. And what's the common thread? The person committing the new crime almost always learned about the original one from the media.
And hey, don't think for a second this is just a modern problem, something from the internet age. Nope. Let's go way back, all the way to 1888, the Jack the Ripper case in London. The media coverage was absolutely insane, and it's widely believed that very coverage inspired some of the first copycat crimes we ever saw.
There's actually a chilling name for this, the Media Contagion effect. Think about it. The idea is that when the media gives sensational 24/7 coverage to an event, say a mass shooting or celebrity suicide, it can spread like a virus, literally triggering similar events to pop up.
Okay, but how? How does just seeing something on TV or online actually translate into someone doing something in the real world? How does a news story plant a seed that grows into a violent act? Let's break down what's happening inside the mind.
So, a really huge piece of this puzzle comes from a guy named Albert Bandura and his social learning theory. And it's a total game changer. Because what he said was, look, we don't just learn by doing things ourselves. A huge part of how we learn is by watching and imitating other people. And that includes the people we see in the media.
In this learning process, it seems to follow 4 key steps. It starts with attention. The sensational news story grabs you and won't let go. Then comes retention. Your brain holds on to the details, creating a kind of mental script. Step 3 is reproduction. For someone vulnerable, this is the moment they realize, hey, I could do that. And the final dangerous step, motivation, when the fame and notoriety given to the original perpetrator actually becomes an incentive.
And this is a really, really important point. The media isn't creating a killer out of thin air. It's not usually planting the motive. What it's doing is handing a blueprint, a cognitive script, to someone who's already on a dangerous path. It's like giving them a step-by-step how-to guide that can make something that was just a dark fantasy suddenly feel very, very real and achievable.
And then there's another layer to this, something called desensitization. You know that feeling when you see something shocking for the 10th time and it just doesn't hit you as hard? That's it. The more violence we see, the more we can become numb to it. It just wears down our natural empathy and can lower the barriers that would normally stop someone from acting aggressively. But this whole thing isn't just about inspiring criminals. It has a massive effect on all of us. It fundamentally changes how we see the world. And honestly, it can make us all more scared. There's a great theory for this called cultivation theory. Think of it like a garden. The idea is that if you're constantly consuming media, especially news that's filled with violence, it slowly, gradually, cultivates a certain view of the world in your mind. Your sense of reality starts to look a lot more like the distorted one you see on screen. And what does that cultivated worldview look like? It's something called the mean world syndrome. It's basically the feeling that the world is a way, way more dangerous and scary place than it actually is. You start to believe the odds of being a victim are much higher, all because that's what the media is constantly showing you.
This chart right here just shows it perfectly. Look at that bar for reality, the actual rate of violent crime. It's low, and as we said, it's been going down. But now, look at the other bar. That's our perception of the threat. It's so much higher.
That massive gap you see, that's the mean world syndrome in action. That's the gap between reality and fear, and it's fueled by media coverage.
So, okay, let's put it all together. You've got the paradox of crime rates, you've got the copycat effect, and you've got this distorted view of the world we all get. When you mix all that up, you get a really dangerous, self-perpetuating cycle.
And here's how that dangerous loop works. It's pretty simple, actually. Step 1. The media goes all in on a violent event, making it sensational. Step 2. We, the audience, get scared and start believing the world is a terrible place. Step 3. For a few unstable people out there, this coverage provides an action plan. And Step 4. The risk of a copycat crime goes up. And when that happens, what's the result? More sensational media coverage, and the cycle starts all over again.
But here's the thing. This cycle doesn't have to be unbreakable. There's actually some real hope here. Studies have shown that when the media acts responsibly, it can make a huge difference. Take the Don't Name Them campaign, for example. The idea is simple. Stop making perpetrators famous. Focus on the victims instead. And the results? It can reduce the risk of copycat crimes by just a staggering amount. We're talking huge reductions.
So all of this leaves us with a really big question, for them and for us. In a world where we're just drowning in information, what's the media's responsibility to report the news without spreading the contagion? And maybe even more important, as we watch and click and share, what's our role in all of this? How do we help break the cycle?